Which is the fast runner from our point of view? Is it the emotion which runs faster than the thoughts? Mostly what we have seen, emotions are intense. And because of this intensity of emotions, they are so effusive in nature that they dictate your thoughts. So in this game of run, emotions almost all the time is the winner. I'm sure that most of us will agree, because emotions are really powerful. They dictate our lives. They make our thoughts go around and around and around. And we are not able to create the gap between the emotions and thoughts. If I were to give you a choice, I'm asking all of you who are hearing this piece of words, I'm requesting all of you, if you had a choice to delete all the memories which haunts your life, which make your life miserable, it intensifies your emotions and throws your life off balance, would you do that? Most of us will say, yes, I will delete all the memories of the past. So what you have right now, what you call emotions and thoughts, these are nothing but a huge pileup of everything that you have gathered through your senses. But unfortunately, it's not your fault. You were not aware about what you were receiving from the world through your senses. So unconsciously, a huge pileup of emotions are entangled, totally entangled. And they are creating a waves of thoughts which we don't have control over. So what is important here is awareness, is very realization of it. Because what is happening for many, many years till now, that we are not even aware about what is happening. Do we have the answers to those questions where we find vulnerable to behave in a particular way without we being aware about it? Do we have answer of those questions? Why do we react that way? We are reactionary, not responsive. So emotionally effusive person is always reactionary, never responsive, whereas a thoughtful person is responsive, never reactionary. So you can distinguish the very outcome of these two. Always highly effusive, emotionally person is reactionary, but a thoughtful person is responsive, because that thoughtful person has been able to create the gap between the emotions and the thoughts. To say that, oh, I will go beyond the thoughts and emotions, impossible. As long as you have the senses and body which are so attached with it, almost the body remembers your ways. You wake up in the morning, what do you do? I'm asking you, sir. I'm asking you, madam, what do you do? You get up and get a cup of coffee or tea or warm water, whatever it is, because your body is a clock which remembers everything, just everything, whatever you are doing. Everything is getting registered. This body is a clock, remembers the time. That's why you age. That's why There's a decay in this body. The body decays and vanishes at one point in time because the clock never stops and all gets registered. So whatever who you are and whoever we are, all are, is a heap of experiences that we have registered through those senses. The problem here is not the thoughts and emotions. That's not a problem. They will be there with you forever. They have been with you and they will be there with you, with all of us. No one can go beyond them. No one can win over their thoughts and emotion. Impossible. Because that will be quite idealistic, but not practical. Don't you think we shall be practical? All of us shall be practical, not some kind of utopian idealism which sits on the plank of some theory which never works on the ground of pragmatism. We don't want that kind of theory. We got to be practical in this life. Come on. So what is important here is getting conscious, becoming aware about yourself, becoming aware about your thoughts and emotions. That is exactly what is required. And not to create a different kind of adjectives and verbs and names and XYZ. That's not important. That, oh, this thought is great, this thought is demeaning bad, or this emotion is bad. No, absolutely not. Because that will make you very judgmental about yourself. Because being judgmental about yourself will not help you. It will only belittle you or make you greater. Suppose if all the thoughts, a stream of thoughts which are really great coming to you, you will make a big deal about it, about yourself, which is also not good. So either ways, whether greatness or sickness of thoughts, whether the thoughts are sick or great, whatever they are entanglement only. They are trying to trap you. So all the elevated master of the world, wherever they come from, it's not that they have gone somewhere where no one has reached. It's just that they are just more intentionally aware about what is happening in their mind, in their body, and the emotions. They can see through it. They can see through it. They can see through it very, very clearly. That's the difference between enlightened master and the, I would rather say, mentally illuminated ones who are evolved a bit evolved. They may not be the enlightened one, but a bit evolved than the normal human beings. So what is important here is not a kind of a fight. Fight is not important here. You don't have to fight with anything. Can you fight with your thoughts? Is it possible for you to fight with your thoughts? Not possible. How can you fight with something which you cannot see? You can fight with something that you can see, something which has got a solid physical appearance. You can fight with it, but how can you fight with something which actually you cannot see? Not possible. But through the practice of meditation, you can actually see. It's like, suppose that the place where I am right now, a bit higher on the mountain, I can see small hills where I am. And the very perspective of it is very clear because you can see through it. Suppose that if I am stuck at the right bottom at the small hill, I cannot see anything. So I will be really perplexed. The heap of the mountains will look very perplexing to me, and I will regret. Maybe, who knows, I will be a bit abusive to those mountains and those hills. But once you come on the top of it, what will happen is you can enjoy the view. So this is what is exactly important. A gap is all that is required between the thoughts and emotions. Suppose if I ask you, if you are passing through Mr. James' house And I did mention it to you that don't look at James' house. You will actually look at it because it has been told to you. So the more you try to suppress, the more you try to remind yourself, oh, I have this thought and that emotion and that feeling, the more you will fall in the trap of it. So it's important that we create a distance. This is exactly what is needed so that you can create peace by creating a gap, by creating a distance. So just like if you happen to see someone outside of your window whom you don't know doing something which is not pleasing, maybe you won't give a damn about it. You won't even think about it. But suppose if you happen to see someone from your family whom you are close to emotionally doing something which is not appropriate, you will feel outraged. So, because there's emotion attached with this person. Otherwise, you would not think about it. Action is the same, but it's our emotions which are very intense that are so attached with the person. So what is important here is it's just becoming aware about it. And that is possible only when you create the gap. So, thoughts and emotions, they always run together. But at times, what we have seen, emotions is the best runner. It always overruns thoughts. It always wins. And those who have gone through a number of traumas in their life, so by the experiences of the traumatic experiences and emotionally led experiences, they become thoughtful. But that will take a long time. So there are two kinds of awakening, which I would like to offer you. One, you become conscious enough right now and behave responsibly. I mean, you know that how we're behaving. Even if you're behaving the way you should not, you know that you're not behaving appropriately to your higher self. Or second option is we all of us go through a series of traumas in life, series of failures, series of humiliations and this or that, and then learn by those experiences. Then one day, maybe after a decade or so, one becomes thoughtful. But there's no guarantee. So it's important that we, being a sentient being, we being as a conscious being, that we take responsibility. And there's nothing like responsibility is a very heavy word. Sorry to use this word, but it is just important that we create a gap. Because when emotions become thoughts, that's when the problem rises. If you can segregate your emotions from your thought, you won't have a problem. You won't have a problem at all. The problem here is not the thought and emotions. The problem here is emotions becoming thoughts. That's the problem. That's where the problem is. Because emotions are so overpowering, so effusive, so intense that it has taken over the thoughts. That is the problem. That's why we behaved with that person in that specific circumstance, which we later regretted having done so, because emotions overpower the thoughts, because emotions we cannot take control of. The problem here is the emotions becoming the thoughts, and emotions becoming so empowering that it becomes a thought, and we end up making decisions and doing things based on the emotions than the thoughts. So we need to create the gap. Can't allow heap of emotions which we have gathered with the pile up of memories of the past and act based on those emotions, which will always be destructive. It won't be conscious. So emotions, what it does, emotion is compulsive. Don't you find yourself compulsive in emotions? Do you find yourself compulsive? Do you find yourself vulnerable? Do you find yourself really weak in times of emotions? When you have to make a decision which is really emotionally effusive, don't you find yourself really, really weak? Yes, you do. Because the heap of memories that we have gathered, you are so attached with it, you cannot let go of it. So what is important here is that we have to make a very conscious decision. Let the emotions be the emotions, and be able to learn to segregate the emotions from the thoughts. Once we do that, life will be wonderful. Let the emotion flow in your life, not a problem. Let the thoughts come into your mind, but never ever allow the emotions to become the mind. Never allow the emotions to become the thoughts themselves, never. Because that we will always find ourselves very compulsive, because emotions are compulsive. So from the compulsiveness of emotions to the thoughtfulness of conscious being who we are, that's a journey we have to make. Journey of being compulsive under the circumstances of different kinds of emotions to the thoughtful being, that is conscious being, that is who you are. Because you are neither your emotions, you are neither your thoughts. So without taking much of time, I would just like to tell you that don't put a lot of pressure on yourself, and just becoming aware about it will help you. And doing a bit of sadhana. Sadhana is meditation. Doing sadhana, going deep within yourself, deepen your stillness, just go deep within yourself. All the answers of your life, life within, everything will be presented to you in the best possible way to uplift your soul. Everyone's path is different. Every one of us is different, but we can celebrate our diversity. And that's the uniqueness of who we are. So all of us, whether we come from any background, we breathe the same air. The air that I breathe, you are also breathing the same air. Doesn't matter where you are. No, you see. So we're all connected. So emotions are very wavery, just like the air. The thoughts are also very strong. All is needed is becoming aware about it and being able to segregate the emotions from the thoughts, and don't allow the emotions to overrule the thoughts. But we are neither of these two. We have to keep this in our mind as well. So with these words, I would ask all of you to ponder on it, to think on it, and pray to Almighty, and go and deep within yourself, do sadhana. And Vihangam Yoga meditation is the best to bring that awareness in you. Because as this awareness comes in, you know it, you can see through it. You don't have to fight over it. How can you go and bang your head against the wall? It is not possible. You will just end up bleeding your head. Nothing will happen. No, not possible. Can't go beyond thoughts and emotions. Impossible. Never possible. Would not be possible. But just being able to see the wall, that there is a wall, then you can create a diversion. You can find a way out of it. Won't you? Yes, you will. But if you cannot see it, then that's the problem, because emotions have become the thoughts. So just a bit of awareness will accentuate your perception. And as the perception goes up, the perspective changes as well. The perspective goes higher. So it's all about changing the perspective, taking the perspective towards higher dimension of life. And that perspective will only elevate itself with the level of your perception. So accentuate your perception. elevate yourself through meditation, and within a very few months' time, you will be on a very, very higher platform. You can see through everything, and you can enjoy the view. You can laugh at your emotions. You can laugh at your thoughts and make friends with them. They don't have to be your enemy. They don't have to be your friends either. They can just be an acquaintances who visits you and you smile at them. So not a problem at all. So through meditation of Vihangam Yoga, all can be achieved within just 6 months' time if one dedicates himself or herself in the meditation. So with these words, I request all of you to do meditation in this time of quarantine and COVID-19. We shall be able to do meditation more often than ever before, because we have this massive opportunity. And sadhana, the meditation, dhyan, is the best way forward to discover what greater possibilities lie in you. So thank you so much. Thank you so much.